Alrighty guys, so we're starting off here looking at the dairy barn. Today we figured that we should make a video on our farm's history. So we have two different farms that this channel runs off of. This is one of our two farms, this being the one that has more cattle and we do more cattle work, and our other farm has more plants and crop work, as well as more equipment in general than we do. But our farms serve two different purposes, kinda, even though there are some crops here, but we don't run those crops at all. We rent those out. So, but either way, I thought I should make a video explaining the history of this farm, since it has quite a unique history that spans all the way back to 1901. So in 1901, this barn, the foundation here, I'm actually going to go back there in a little bit. In 1901, that foundation, the entire foundation, which is still original, was built. As you can see, it's falling apart like crazy. But we'll take a walk over here, since I'm going to be in this direction anyways. And so this barn, there was a barn here before this hay mound. So it was kind of like, it was more so like a rectangular in shape barn. It wasn't rounded like your classic 20th century dairy barns. It was more square in shape. I would go up into the hay mound, but I'm not equipped for that right now because I'm not in pants or anything. I'm just out here in shorts and flip-flops. But next time I have pants and closed-toe shoes on, I will go up there. Pigeons. But as you can see, just before we get into any of this, this barn is falling apart quite bad. As you can see, the blocks here on the side are coming out, as well as the hay mounds boards are bowing outwards. So one of these days, the building's just going to go like that. And while we're on the topic of it, as you can see in the front, when I was over there a minute ago, there are some boards taken off. We took those boards off. We were actually selling boards, as this barn is being torn down for obvious reasons. And since we have enough boards taken off there, there will come a day that there will be a nice big straight line wind event that will take the whole, that will come in that side there and lift the whole roof right off the building. So we're just kind of waiting for the right storm for that to happen at this point. But this used to be the barnyard, and in between, or in the vines there, you could see it in the winter, but I don't know. I don't think I can get in there right now. I don't even think I'm going to attempt to. Trying to see if I can maybe see it from here. No, I can't. But in the vines there's actually a little print and engraved into the rocks that says 1901 on it. So that was when this barn, the original barn, was built. So all that foundation over there, and the foundation that it's engraved on, and all this going around. And then next to it, on the other side, which I'll go over to, there was a little brick, little wooden barrel silo thingy. It was only like 10 feet tall, but it was just a little wooden barrel silo that served its little purpose there. And then over here, we'll go back over here, there was a corn crib, and there still is. There's a corn crib that has been converted into a grain bin, which is kind of cool. So I know the sun's kind of in the way. You can kind of see it there. Trying to block it out a little bit. But there's the grain bin that was a corn crib at one point. When the farm was first built in time. And then in the dairy barn here, if I can make my way in here. As you can see, it's been numerous years. It's been 22 years from the time this video is published. It's been 22 years since there's been dairy cows in here, since there's been dairy milked in here. But this is the barn. This is all original, except for the beams and stuff. That's all a little bit newer. Still not new in any terms, but all the windows and stuff are pretty much original. We'll go into the milk house, and then I'll go to the other end. You can see right here, actually no, you can't see it that well. You can see it way down there, or down there better. But right here, it's kind of grooved a little bit here. There's cement filling this spot in where my feet are. That is where the barn cleaner system ran. And the barn cleaner, the actual auger where it comes out and where you'd unload it onto a wagon and then haul it out, is still down there. And for those of you that follow my siren channel, we took the motor off of the unloader, or off the cleaner down there, and that's being used on my siren. I don't remember that hole being open right there. As you can see, this is all original paint. There's a lot of junk in here. This door fell off in a windstorm a couple months ago. But in here, this is the milk house, or what's left of it. There's some disconnects, some breakers over there. There's actually a weird, like, shaving station kind of deal behind that mirror. So, bulk tank, collection jar used to be here. All this ran over here. All the pipes ran into here at one point. As you can see on here, it says it on this calendar somewhere. I think. I'm trying to look. It says it on there somewhere. That calendar is from 1994. So there were previously 5 owners before us. At least 5. I'm not even sure, to be completely honest, how many there were for sure, but I know there was at least 5. And 4 of the 5 ran dairy in here, or just used this barn to a certain point. And down here now you can kind of see. You can see here where there's a kind of a line in the concrete, and then where it dips down there, that's where the gutters ran on both sides. There's the feed room. There was a feed room there, and that's all been built up over the years. There was a little 20 by 40 foot harvester on that side. Yes, the failing foundation over there. This has been falling in for at least 10 years now, since I've been here. And it's definitely getting worse by the day, as you can see. It's not in the greatest of conditions. So, here's where the gutter system ran out. There used to be a bunch of hay here. Now I'm trying to think of what happened to it. Here's where it ran out, and then you just bring your wagon in, and then back out. And then there used to be a motor right there, and then we took it off. So, otherwise, that's all that's down here. There's still some stanchions for some reason here. I'm not sure how much head this barn could hold. I'm guessing at least 40 or 50 maybe. It's not the biggest barn in the world, but it's an okay size. I would go out this way, but I don't have shoes on, like I said earlier, so I don't feel like climbing over all this stuff. But that is pretty much it for the dairy barn's history. I wish I knew more about the dairy barn, but unfortunately I don't. And what I do know so far is actually pretty interesting, so I wish I did know more. I guess I'm not getting out that way either because of all the weeds. So yeah, you could tell it's been a long, long time, 20 years. And I mean, it's crazy to think that 20 years of no maintenance can do, all this to a building. So yeah, this barn's future is to be torn down. It's just a matter of either the wind taking it or us taking it. And I'm generally not sure which one's going to be first. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it for the dairy barn. Yeah, so we'll move on. We're going to go back to the barnyard because there's some stuff over there I kind of want to talk about. If I can get out of here. And then this is that's the door that fell off for the milk house. And then, over time, there were a couple new owners as time went on. So right now I'm at about 19, I'm at about the 50s. So in the 50s, dairy was still okay. I mean, dairy was never like a very, very strong thing, like to the point where you could easily make a living off it. I mean, you could make a living off it, but it was not the easiest thing in the world to do because the milk prices have never been like gorgeous. It's always been somewhat of a struggle. But the 50s were an okay time. So in the 50s, this back addition was added on. You can see where the metal comes off the wood there on the hay mound. It comes over to here. That was the addition with the gutter system. That's where we were just in right there. So far, the barnyard's been turned into our junk pile. There's just a fridge there. There's actually a piano over there, a bunch of wood, all pipes for the pool. There's a gas tank in there, a fire rain, a bunch of weird stuff in there that we threw over the years. So that was it for the 50s, and when the 60s and 70s rolled around, actually this might be in the 50s too, there were a total of, I'm trying to think, there were a total of 4 silos here. 2 cement silos, or no, 1 cement silo poured concrete, 1 stave silo, the brick silo that I was talking about over there, and then there was a wooden barrel silo on the other side of the, like just on the right side of that shed that's kind of peeking through there. I might go over there, but I can actually talk about most of the history just from standing in this one spot here, because I can get a view of mostly everything. But either way, there were 4 silos, and they were all different varieties. It's like kind of interesting how there were 4 of the different varieties. There was like the wooden barrel type with like strings that kind of went around, like literally like a wooden barrel. And then there was a brick silo, a poured concrete silo, and then a stave silo like you'd see nowadays. And so the poured concrete silo was actually right there, right where I was a minute ago. Right in that spot of the leaves. You can't see the foundation anymore. I'm pretty sure they redid all this blacktop, or well, not blacktop, but concrete when one of the owners moved in here, the new ones. There's like 5 new ones, so it's kind of hard to explain. And then up there, in between that shed, the red steel girders thingy, and this blue shed right here, directly in between there's a gate that kind of splits it in half. There's a stave silo foundation, and there's a little 40, 50 foot silo in there. And then I already talked about the 2 other silos. And then in the 70s, in the 80s, when dairy was okay as well, I think the farm was pretty much expanding really significantly at that point. This shed right here was added onto. So that was original. That was built in the 60s. And then the purple part of it right there, that goes out to there, was built in the 80s, just as kind of like an add-on for room. That shed right there was built, the blue one. There was a red shed on the other side of this barn that was built. There's another red shed over there too. So there's not, the only original buildings from like the 40s and 50s are these couple right here. So, and then in the 80s, there was new owners yet again, at least the third one, and the silos were torn down, and the owners put up 3 harvesters. As you can see, there was one of them. We already walked by one of them. I'll just go back down here. So one of them, this one in particular, was a 20 by 60 or 20 by 50. I'm trying to think, 20 by 50 or 20 by 60. The one up there was one directly behind that blue shed. I'm not sure. You can't really see the foundation. In the winter, you can. In the winter, you can see the foundation. There was a little there was a 20 by 60 up there as well. And then just on the other side of the barn, like I was talking about when I mentioned the feed room, there was a little 20 by 30, 40 foot harvester in there as well. So like here, here's the bunks, unloader, blower tube. This is all covered in vines and stuff now, unfortunately. Can't really see much from here. Here's the base. I believe it's a 20 by 50. It could be 25. It's only a 5-foot difference. But either way, so you can see it there in the center where the vines are popping up there. That's where the unloader was and where the sweep would run around and pick out your hay. So now I'm not exactly sure why they tore down the silos and put up harvesters. I don't exactly know the full story, why they would spend that kind of money for that, considering harvesters were ungodly more expensive than stave silos. So I don't know why that was why that happened, but I don't know, we'll probably never know. So it's one of the thousands of mysteries about this farm. And then also in the late or early 1900s, there was a house, a little farmhouse, right in there, in this kind of like flat, it's like the only flat spot on the farm. You can see that flat spot just to the left of the power line, or the power pole and the tree stump. There was a house there. It was about just your old 2-story farmhouse. Looked like every other white farmhouse there is out there. And that was tore down, or that was burned down in 2010. And then they put up that house. That was the previous owner to us. And up here is the rest of the farm. And then the silo that was, the little wood barrel silo that I was talking about, was just on the other side of the red shed right in front of me. And that wasn't even, I don't even know how tall that was. That was not that tall at all. It was no taller than the roof of the current shed there. So it was a very short silo. And I am going to be including pictures so you'll get to better visualize what I'm talking about here, because I know it's kind of hard for me to explain because a lot of stuff is just overgrown here and you can't see much of anything. We'll get some pictures in there so I can better visualize it. We have our trailer currently in here right now, and there's the hay mound. There's actually really not that much to see in there. There's just some leftover straw. And then, and here was the third harvester base, and I just ran up perfectly in the center of the 2 open doors here. And they got rid of the base, which was kind of interesting. And I don't know why they got rid of that base, but left the other 2. I guess we'll really never know. But other than that, that harvester and feed bucket there has a similar setup to the other ones. So I'm not going to go up there because it's pretty much the identical setup as the one I just showed you guys. So other than that, I think that pretty much concludes the farm tour for this one. I'm not sure if this is going to include our second farm as that in this video as well for that farm history. But other than that, if there's an outro for that video, if that gets included in this one. But other than that, stay tuned. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified about all our new uploads. And yeah, just comment below what other videos we should try to get out there that are farming related. I did the best I could trying to explain all this stuff, so hopefully the pictures help better visualize what I was all talking about here in the last 20 minutes. So yeah, otherwise, see you guys later.